Tell me, Pablo, what are some of the things that we see in companies that are in our line of business that you think are absurd, wrong, or plain crazy? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, apart from the fact that there is a lot of smoke and mirrors, so people kind of always try to appear like they do more than they really do. I would say that a big mistake in the industry in general is this, kind of throwing the kitchen sink at every problem, right? Like, you start by doing expensive efforts of just, let's grab all data we can and build a complex infrastructure, these, data lakes that you don't know what to do with the data beforehand. And it ends up being a very time-consuming effort. It's really not getting you anywhere.
And expensive, right? It's also very expensive.
Especially if you start then using the cloud, because the cloud is great. I am a big fan of the cloud. It really accelerates time to market of new ideas, but you have to be careful on how you use the cloud. You cannot just use the cloud for everything, because the bills can be surprisingly high. We have experienced them ourselves. So the
We
user
got those surprise bills, right, Pablo? We got those surprise bills.
Yeah, I mean, like nothing you would expect. Like suddenly you leave, some log on, and boom, the the surprise is
The
interesting.
money gun, the money gun.
Yeah. So I think as in everything in life, common sense is always the best guiding light. And common sense dictates that first you need to know what you're trying to solve, that you go into a relatively minor effort first, get your knowledge, learn, and then build on top of that. So I think that's a common mistake on this kind of going big and kind of trying to hide behind this complexity. Let's demonstrate things quickly. Let's show, if your product works, just get to the chase as soon as possible.
Yeah. But I think it's easier to sell a bigger product when you put all these smoke and mirrors, like you mentioned, right?
Yeah. There is this phrase I love, this secret sauce. Our secret sauce, we cannot tell you, like, I don't care. I'm always open. I tell, everything we because, the key is, can you productize what I have created,
Exactly.
It's
And
really
can you grow fast? Can you iterate, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. So that's great. What is the best thing that our customers do? From the best customers that we've had and what we've seen in the industry, what is this thing that they do great?
The best thing is when you find this customer that really treats you as a partner, right? It's when you both have a clear, and I mentioned this before, right? The focus is the business problem to solve. So then you bring your partner to solve this problem together, and then you work together as a team. That moment, it's magic, because you join the efforts. One brings the knowledge of the deep domain expertise that they have, which is the customer. They really know their company, the challenges. They know what they're looking for, and you bring the technology, your experience, the ability to develop the solution that they need. And this, when you have these two together, this is awesome. And this business mind means that that person is going to be able to create a clear case inside the company, to push for the project, to break the silos, as we mentioned before. And then, when you see these things falling in place, it just feels great, because that means that you concentrate on solving the problem. Everything else is, secondary. And the speed at which you can do things is just great, and the impact to the business is amazing. So we have had, we have these sponsors. One of them is coming to mind, and it's a guy in T-Mobile, and the kind of things that we achieved in a very short time with him and his team is just great.
Yeah, true that. I think that just do it attitude and treat us as a partner. We've been able to save them a lot of money. Not just it has that deep partnership has enabled that type of collaboration, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is always a win-win. A lot of people talk about win-win, but many cases, when you are in a position of force, versus a supplier, this win-win gets forgotten on the way. So it's nice to have this, in mind what a real win-win attitude can do for your business.
True that. Now, moving on to some harder topics to talk about, because we've had these customers that have always put some objections, and especially late objections when we're, about to, sell them a product or deploy, right? One of our applications, what are those objections? And if you can share some of those examples of those objections that happen with the customers,
Yeah, I would say one of them is very normal. Is I want to have a proof, right? I want to have a proof of concept, and that's, as I said, is completely normal, and I'm the first one that always wants to prove something. But proving things have a cost, and we cannot just go freely expending our limited resources on just doing proof of concepts everywhere. And what we have found is that those customers that really know what they want, they're ready to put skin in the game to do these proof of concepts, and that really is the way to go. So I'm fine doing a proof of concept as long as there is a clear business case behind, and there is more than a proof of concept, is a proof of value. Like, perfect, let's do this together, but you already have a budget for this initiative, right? So it's not, okay, let's just play and figure out later on what will happen. Because in many cases, when we were starting and we were kind of rookies, we went through these phases of, yeah, let's do a proof of concept. Everything is golden. You prove the concept. The results are great, and then, yeah, but I'm not the one that makes the decision. I don't have the budget. Like, okay, we both wasted a lot of time and effort, and we cannot afford to do that. So,
yeah. It looks bad also on them. I mean, it's not just us, but it also looks bad on those customers, that try that.
Exactly. Yeah, another typical objection, which is kind of related, and it's about being like, okay, this is the price is too high, right? And the thing is, do your homework first, right? Because there is no price high or low. It's not about the price. Our focus is always on the value that we are providing. So the price is always going to be a small fraction of the value we provide. So having a focus on the price rather than on the business outcome, on the impact this is going to have, is another, I think, mistake or objection that we have. And another one is this, what is the price model, right? The pricing model. And as you know, software industries have moved to software as a service, because it makes sense when you're operating a software company and you are doing continuous R&D and developing your product. You cannot be selling one-off products and then leaving your customer behind. So you need to keep the team, and the best way to keep the team focused on creating additional value is having a proper income that is predictable, and this is done through SaaS. So betting on SaaS gives you that predictability on getting the best product at every point. So, and if you
But it
like it,
also helps our customers, right? It also helps them, because I think automation efforts, like you said, are not one-offs, are things where you grow, right? So they also help them continue to grow, right?
yeah. And the thing is, I don't like these situations where you make a big investment and then you're stuck with it, right? It's like building a paradigm. Like in Spain, we have this concept of a funcionario, right? It's the person that,
The
they
civil
do.
servants, right? The civil servants.
And the thing is, they have a really hard exam to pass, right? And they spend years, preparing for this exam. And then the moment they get the exam passed, some of them, I'm not going to generalize because many of my family are.
Let's not show them this interview, Pablo.
No. The thing is, after that, many people just kind of relax, right? And it's like, okay, I already passed the exam. So, same thing goes with these kind of big deals, right? You get a big, purchase, and then later on, you are not investing in that company, then the company will sleep and you're not going to get your best possible product. And you may actually want to change, but you're already stuck because you paid for the full price, ahead of time. So that's another one. I could continue. I already kind of mentioned this typical. Okay, I have an internal team and I'm gonna develop it, internally.
Yeah,
That's
what do
another.
you have to say about this? This is interesting because we touched on the first part of the interview, but I like to see your opinion. I'll mention something that I have, but I'd like to hear a little bit more about that part. Where you see the inefficiencies there.
Well, first of all, I have to say that I'm a big believer in reskilling the teams, right? I believe that,
Correct.
and I myself and our team, as you know, we're continuously learning. As an engineer, always need to be learning new things and staying on top of the game,
As
right?
a human being, Pablo, you don't even need to be an engineer.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's good that you have internal teams that develop the skills and that can do great things, right? But I think sometimes we lose perspective of, what is your purpose, right? As a customer, you're not a software developer, right? And you're never going to be, developing these skills of being a true software developer. You're not going to have the processes. You're not going to sell to other customers. So I believe that those internal teams, they should be focusing on their domain, on building, strategies and using tools that help them create these strategies like machine learning models, develop pipelines, create metrics and logics, but using a platform that allows them to do so rather than going into developing, frameworks, software, and so on, which, first of all, they're never going to do it right. It's going to take time. They're not going to be able to maintain the key resources if they have good people that have learned along the process. They will leave to to the big guys that the big software companies that pay quite a bit. So I think that's another this objection of I'm gonna do it internally. We've seen many times that actually my answer is all right.
Go ahead.
Call me in 2 years because that's what's going to
We've
happen.
been in competition, internal competition, and I think we've came out at the top, in those internal competitions with teams. I think one of the things that I want to kind of mention here is that it's really hard to get top engineers, top software engineers if you're not a software company, because they're in it for the technology and they're in it to grow in their craft, right? And it's really hard to grow on your craft if you're not in a software company, right? I think that part is kind of hard to juggle. I think I like your concept of maintaining good SMEs and upskilling them, right?
Yeah. I believe, and I kind of hinted at this before. You need to give your SMEs the tools to learn more, right? And to be able to leverage these new technologies, of course. But really focusing on what you do best, which is knowing your domain and focusing
Awesome.
on
On your strengths, really.
Exactly.